What's up guys, this is Jeff from Sorta Healthy. In today's video we are talking all about programming as a personal trainer. If you're a personal trainer looking to learn more about programming, or maybe you're not a trainer, maybe you're just someone who's more interested in learning about workout programming in general, stick around because this video will be useful for you. But yeah, essentially program building is the same thing as workout design or workout building. It sounds simple, but the devil is in the details. And there are a lot of details to consider here. Before we move any further, let me first say that I only do programming with someone after I've done a consultation with them and an assessment with them. So a consultation is your first meeting with a potential client. In this consultation, you should be doing a ton of goal setting with your prospect. The information that you get here will be essential when it comes to designing a program for your client. So yeah, like I said, we have to do this consultation before we can even begin to start thinking about programming for our prospect or our client. And I will pop a link up above if you guys want to see how I do a consultation. After the consultation, the next thing you should do with your client is take them through an assessment. I need to know where this person is strong and where they're not so strong. Again, if I know what I'm doing, this is going to affect my programming with that client. And again, I will pop a link somewhere up there for that video as well. In my last video, which we also talked about programming, we primarily focused on phasing or periodization. You can't really program effectively for a client or even for yourself long term unless you're familiar with periodization. The body is not a perfect machine. If all you're planning on doing with your new client is just adding some weight once in a while or some reps once in a while to their lifts, you're probably missing the bigger picture here. From a physical and a mental perspective, as human beings, we tend to do better by switching up our workout objectives once in a while. And again, that's just because you're changing things up and keeping the workouts fresh. In switching up our workout objectives, of course, we cannot lose sight of the client's main goal. In my part 1 video on programming, we talked about this in more detail, and we also talked about how I do this in my personal training business. So yeah, make sure you check out that part 1 video because today we're doing part 2 and the things in part 1 do very much affect the things in part 2 today. Today though, we're getting into the stuff that I actually like the most. And if you're an exercise nerd like me, you'll probably feel the same way. We're talking things like exercise selection, reps, sets. And then also not designing just one workout for your client, but a series of ongoing workouts that get progressively harder. This is what it's all about, guys, and let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right in. All right, guys, now we're moving on over to my workout chart. And we'll be spending a pretty good amount of time going over how I use this chart in my personal training business. Typically, I print these charts off and write everything down in pencil, but my handwriting is no bueno, so I typed everything out for today. And what we're looking at here is 5 workouts, as you can see up here. So yeah, this is just a workout chart that includes 5 workouts that I actually did with a client all the way back in January. In fact, the only thing that's missing from this workout chart is that client's name because that is confidential. Let's take a look back to the consultation that I did with this client a while ago, and let's check out this client's goals. 3-month goals, and we have 1-year goals. Her 3-month goals or short-term goals are to lose 10 pounds, strengthen everything, but mostly her lower body, and she wants extra work on the booty, and she also wants to improve her posture. Her 1-year goals are pretty similar. She wants to lose more weight, so 20 pounds. She also wants to complete an obstacle or mud run. No exact date on that yet, but it's something that she wants to do at some point in the next year. And before we go back to the workout chart, we're going to take a quick look at the phasing system chart. Again, this is the one that we went over in a lot of detail in the last video. So anyway, this client's main goal is weight loss, so she would go in this total body lean category. That means for the first 6 to 8 weeks, she's going to be working in this foundational phase. All phases last 6 to 8 weeks, preferably as close to 6 weeks as possible. So yeah, for all of her exercises, she's going to be doing 2 to 4 sets, 8 to 20 reps, and we're going to be focusing on form work for the compound movements and the ones that I deem to be foundational. Moving back to the workout chart, foundational movements are the ones you see in bold here. Pretty much all the lower body moves: bench press, push-ups, shoulder press, rows, lat pull-downs, reverse fly, torso rotation, plank, crunch. These should be the main focus of my program with this client. The 5 workouts that I'll be going over with you today are all total body. I find that when I sign on a new client, especially one who is a beginner lifter, this works well in the beginning of their program. By the way, guys, all of the forms included in this video, that includes this workout chart, my consultation chart, and my phasing system chart, those are all free for you to download in the video description down below. All I ask in return is that you like the video and subscribe to the channel because it does help the channel to grow, and that allows me to keep making these videos. So anyway, like we said, my client's main goal is weight loss. We talked about her rep ranges already, and we also talked about how she primarily wants to focus on strengthening her lower body. She also wants to work on posture. So let's get into how I program for a client like that. It should also be said that she's a beginner lifter and that she has no major injuries to be concerned about. So yeah, programming should be pretty straightforward. So yeah, again, we have our 5 sessions here. We have our phase. She's lean. She wants to get lean, so that's the phase that she's in. We have our dates, and as you can see, she comes in twice a week, every Wednesday and Friday around the same time. Her next phase will be in 6 weeks, so 6 weeks from this date right here, and that will be on the 12th of February, which obviously that was a while ago. When she does change phases, her workouts will change quite a bit because at that point she'll be working more on muscular endurance. So she'll be doing 2 to 3 sets, and she'll be doing pretty high rep count moves there. But let's not worry about that yet. Let's worry about what she has going on for the next 5 workouts. As you can see, this client's doing a whole ton of different lower body exercises, and that's because that's primarily what she wants to work on. She wants to work on her lower body strength and, of course, that booty. So let's take a look at squats. We started off actually using no weight. As you can see, there's a 0 right here. We did 18 repetitions for 3 sets. This was just form work. Her form wasn't terrible from the get-go, but there were definitely a few things to work on. When I saw her next, she had already improved her form quite a bit, so we added a little bit of weight, 10 pounds on each side, so dumbbell, DB, 10 by. She did 18 repetitions, and she did 3 sets of that. And when I saw her a week later, same thing as before, except this time the dumbbells were 5 pounds heavier on each side. Pretty much what I'm trying to do is just progressively make these exercises harder over time, and I'm going to do that by either adding weight or adding repetitions. I should say that if we're just going by strength and how capable this client is, she could probably do a fair amount more weight than any of the weights that you're seeing here. But I want that form perfect before I start loading her up with anything very heavy. So if I were to show you another 5 sessions, you'd see that weight consistently going up. Of course, at some point that would slow down a little bit because we would hit a weight that's more challenging for her. We're also working on the deadlift, and for right now, again, it's more form work than anything else. So 2 5-pound dumbbells, 18 reps, 3 sets. And 1 week later, pretty much the same thing, except the weight is now 20 pounds total, 10 pounds on each side. So again, just form work for that one for right now. Lunges, this client was actually really good with lunges when we first started out, and a lot of newbies will really hate lunges because, well, they're hard. But yeah, you can see she started out with a 0, so just body weight, 12 repetitions per leg, 3 sets. 1 week later, we had 2 5-pound dumbbells in the mix, still 12 reps per side for 3 sets. Then another week later after that, the dumbbells went up to 8 pounds a side. And again, if this workout chart extended past 5 sessions, then you would see that same progression keep going forward. Step ups, you're seeing a similar progression happening there. And for bridges / hip thrusts, we're seeing something a little bit different happening here. GR stands for ground. DB, of course, stands for dumbbell, so she used a 15-pound dumbbell on the ground, and she did 15 repetitions for 3 sets. 1 week later, we actually did the version off of the stability ball, which that's a really good move, so we did that just to mix it up. Next time she came back in, we went back to the ground, but this time we added some more weight to the mix. So I think now is a pretty good time to say what I'm trying to achieve here when I pick a weight and a number of repetitions. I'm trying to achieve some sort of challenge with that client. I'm definitely not trying to kill them, and typically I'm not going to try and push them to failure either, but there definitely needs to be some level of challenge. The only exception to that might be if I'm just working purely on form. But for most of these exercises, we were not working purely on form. I was trying to fatigue this client's muscles. So yeah, for a lot of these exercises, she only had a few reps left in the tank each time. Again, I don't need to push this client to failure. Maybe I will once in a while, especially if it's something like a bench press where I can easily spot the client. But at the very least, I want those last few repetitions to be challenging every single time. So make sure you choose a weight that makes sense for your client. Also make sure you choose a rep count that makes sense for your client. If that client could do 100 repetitions at the weight that you're at, there's a good chance that that weight is way too light for the client and you're not achieving anything. Again, unless your objective is purely form work, then that's a whole different story. So yeah, let's check out the rest of the workout chart here. So as you can see here, we haven't done as much upper body work. Of course, we are still doing some because she wants to strengthen her entire body and because I just want to give her a well-rounded program. But yeah, lower body strength and how her lower body looks, it's more important to her, so we're working on it more. So when she came in on the first day, she was not confident in her ability to do push-ups. So we did bar push-ups. which that's a really good modified version. And we started her out at a height of 10. She got some challenge there, but I think we definitely could have lowered that bar a little bit. The lower the bar goes towards the ground, the harder this move ends up being. She actually mentioned that she had done some bench press in the past and that she wanted to get back to working on that. She didn't tell me this until after that first session, so like a smart trainer, I added it in for her second session. So we have a barbell. BB is barbell, which is 45 pounds. She was able to knock that out for a full 20 repetitions, which she did find it challenging on those last few reps. We did that 3 times. Again, on this day, it was the first day that she had done it in a while, so it was a lot of form work. We pretty much knew at this point that in the next session, we would add some weight and reduce the number of reps. And that's exactly what we did. So in the next session, we went up to 55 pounds and we did 18 reps 3 times. Now, she was close to failure on this one, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. When she came in a week later, we actually went even a little bit heavier. We ended up getting a few less reps. I also added in kneeling push-ups one day just to switch it up. She found those kind of easy, so we were able to get a full 20 reps. All 3 sets. By that third set, she was pretty fatigued, so I would probably have to find a way to make this harder for next time. We did mix in an overhead press at one point, and you should be able to see now how what I'm trying to do here is get her really good at these foundational exercises, but keep the workout fresh and exciting. If I just had her do squats every single day, she would probably hate me. No doubt she would get really good at doing squats, but she'd probably find the workouts kind of boring. So I do them fairly often, but I don't do them every single day, and I intersperse these other useful exercises in there as well. Again, nothing is more important than her goals, so it all comes back to that at the end. Speaking of her goals, let's move to pulling exercises. One of her goals is to improve her posture. Because of that, she's doing more pulling than she is pushing. I need to strengthen the backside of her body. She's a teacher, so she spends a lot of time standing, rounding forward, looking over students. So I need to get her to pull her shoulder blades back into retraction. I need to strengthen her back. So we're not wasting any time and we're jumping right in with rows. And she was actually pretty strong here already. So we started out with a 20-pound dumbbell, 15 repetitions, 3 sets. When she came in next, we did the bent over version and we did 15 repetitions for 3 sets. 1 week later, instead of changing the weight here, I just increased her rep count by 1, which that's totally fine too. And the next time that we did rows, we went back to the bent version. And yes, I do have 17.5-pound dumbbells, so we had 2 of those. And she did 15 repetitions for 3 sets. I also use the TRX quite a bit in my studio. UH stands for underhand. And basically I have her feet far enough away from the wall where 15 repetitions is challenging. 1 week later, we went for an overhand grip, and in the next session, we went back to that underhand grip. More often than not, I'm gonna want her in that underhand grip. Again, better for posture. Better to have that supinated grip for a number of different reasons. Down to the reverse fly, underrated exercise right here. The band and dumbbell versions are both good, so we kind of mix those together. And again, just a useful exercise for getting her to strengthen her middle and upper back, and just helping her to retract those shoulder blades and improve her posture. Moving down to core, torso rotation, another really good exercise. You attach a band to an object and then you rotate across, keeping your core tight. You can also use a cable machine for that one. On this day, you're going to see PAL here first. We did a PAL off press, which is not necessarily a torso rotation. It's actually more of an anti-rotational exercise, but it's a really good exercise for core stability. So we did that one on this day. We've been working a lot on planks. It was something that she did want to work on a little bit. She just has struggled with them in the past, and it happens to be a pretty good exercise. So we're changing our variety here and there. So far, they've all been pretty basic. We've done them off of the elbows. We've done a few off of the hands, but you can see that her times are definitely moving in the right direction overall. A lot of days I will end my workout with a plank. It's a great overall finisher for the entire body. I will have them go for as long as they can with good form. Only one time to wrap up the entire workout. We've also done varieties of crunches. People love to hate on crunches, and even I do sometimes, but they definitely have some value, especially for beginners. Did some bicycle crunches here. 3S stands for 30 seconds. On the next day that she came in, she just did basic crunches, 25 reps. 2 sets. Back to bicycle crunches. After that, we did some crunches off of the stability ball. She used a single 10-pound dumbbell. She was able to get 20 crunches for 2 sets, and then we're back to bicycle crunches. Now, most definitely, I would add in some variety to her core routine over time, but this is only her first 5 workouts. So yes, I want to keep the workouts fresh and exciting, but I also want her to get really good at doing certain exercises. So we do need some repetition there as well. It's always important to find that middle ground. You have to keep the workout fun and exciting, but you have to make sure your fundamentals are where they need to be. You'll actually notice down here that I have a weight tracker. So I weigh this client in once a week, and you can see that her weight is moving in the right direction. I can tell you right now she's about 140 pounds. So she did stall there for a little while, but she's pretty much where she wanted to be in her first few months. Of course, there is far more that goes into this because we haven't even talked about nutrition yet, but that is a topic for a different video and definitely one that we'll be tackling soon. But yeah, this should give you an idea of how I would program out 5 workouts. And of course, every client is different. So if I have a client with different goals, their workout chart is going to look entirely different. If I have a client with orthopedic issues, their chart's going to look pretty different too. And heck, even in 6 weeks, her chart's going to look pretty different because she's going to be in a different phase. And I'm going to be trying to challenge her with different rep counts and different weights. So yeah, there's kind of a lot that goes into this, but if you use an approach like this one, your clients will appreciate how on top of your game you are and how you're always just a few steps ahead of them. And ultimately, that's what they pay you for. All right, guys, and that's all we have for today on personal training programming. I should also say that whether I'm working with someone in person or online, their programming doesn't really change a whole lot. I may have less options when it comes to exercise selection, right? I might not have a barbell at my disposal if someone's working out from home, which is a lot of people right now. But yeah, for the most part, my workouts look pretty similar. If you found today's video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe because much more similar, useful content is coming to you very soon.